Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday and welcome to Snap Take. Today, we have something we've never done before on this channel, an Agatha deck. In addition, we have another one of my least favorite cards that's going to become meta again real soon. We're going to be looking at, you guessed it, a Leech deck. But before we get there, I'm Glazer of Snap Judgments, the official Marvel Snap Zone podcast, and I'd like you to subscribe, like, comment. If you subscribe, you get the following things. You get 2 brand new decks every weekday, along with all sorts of extras. You get access to the single biggest Marvel Snap Season Pass giveaway in the entire game. We give away between 5 and 10 season passes. How many more is entirely up to you, dear viewer. And we're giving away some Marvel Snap Zone premium subscriptions, where the legendary card player Den is offering group coaching to members. So you can get that group coaching, usually like $50 an hour, for complete free. All you got to do is hit that sub button, comment, and like. Not necessary for the entries, but it helps us out. Helps us out with the YouTube algorithm. We'd appreciate it. Please do so. The deck you're looking at right now is Fothor Newman's AGATHA Evolutionary. This is Fothor Newman's YouTube page. He is a phenomenal player, a friend, a super sweet human being. He's making this YouTube channel, honestly, for his kids, so they have something to look back on and see him talking about a game and just like telling stories and having a great time playing. And he's an amazingly kind person. Another, you're just like me. Please go ahead and hit him with that sub. He's at 402. He's growing fast. Get in on the ground floor. You won't be sad. You watch his videos, you're going to smile. Great person. All right, let's go back to his deck. This is his deck. This deck is so consistent. I changed one card from his version. His version had Wasp, and I was finding that Agatha does not know how to play Wasp in the slightest. So I added Kang. I'll tell you why I added Kang in a minute. So what this deck is a nice Agatha Harkness High Evolutionary. So how do these two synergize? Well, Agatha is always the far left card in your hand, right? So that means Shocker is going to give you a play for Agatha. That's a great backup plan, because sometimes you're going to wave out Agatha on turn 5. That's fine too. And sometimes you're going to Lady Sif and truck Agatha. And if that happens, ideally, sometimes it's going to play a thing or something else, right? Oh, wait, sorry. If Agatha's trucked, you can choose to play Ghost Rider, and then you have a turn for 17 power. That seems pretty good. Other times, it's going to like, you're going to end up with something else played, like a Misty and a Shocker. It does, Evolutionary does play off curve, so Sunspot and Misty gain a lot of extra value. On turn 4, you're very often going to just drop a thing, right? You drop a thing, you're going to end up making yourself a nice, cheap Abomination. And then Shocker will play that Agatha on 5 at that point. I added Kang. I think it's actually really good. It lets you know what your opponent's attending. If your opponent's playing a lot of cards and you haven't waved, then wave is a great play, especially if you played thing the turn before. You can occasionally, not often, but occasionally get out both a wave and a wave and an Abomination. If thing managed to hit 3 different things, that would be extremely lucky, but it's not impossible, and it does happen. You can also just play wave and then say, okay, you're going to play one thing. I've got one lane locked up with my huge Agatha. I'm going to drop a Hulk House. Or you know they're going to Shang-Chi, and you know that you want to play in 2 different spots. Your now 3 cost Abomination, and say another card, right? Like a Lady Sif. And now you can get an extra power from Misty, an extra power on Sunspot, and maybe that would. This is the single best High Evolutionary deck I've ever played, by like legitimately an awful lot. It's really consistent, it's really strong, and it's really fun. Is this a tier 1 deck? No, it's Agatha. It plays cards completely at random, right? Sometimes Death Domain's going to reveal, and Agatha's going to be like, I'm going to play every card there this game. Fine. But it is both fun and good and consistent, and if you're just trying to grind some daily missions, have a good time, it even wins some Conquest games. I've got a positive record with this in Conquest Proving Grounds. So, like, don't be afraid to try it there. It's a really fun deck. Is it the strongest thing in human history? No. Again, it's Agatha. We don't want it to be. But it's fun, and it's good. Try it out. You are not going to be sad. All right. We are doubling up on Evolution today, though. This is a High Evolutionary Leech deck. So what Magic does in both your hand and opponent's hands is basically turn the game into a 7-turn game, right? Leech takes effect at the beginning of turn 6, and then that is 2 turns of your opponent's cards having no abilities while your cards do. I'm going to go out on a limb and assume you remember how powerful 2 turns of Leech is if you played during any of the Thanos Leech dominance seasons. 2 turns of Leech is freaking busted powerful. At that point, you can skip turn 6, drop She-Hulk and Infinite on turn 7, or She-Hulk and Hulk on turn 7. Either one works fine. If you don't have both of those, oh well, at least you can just play Hulk on turn 6, then a bunch of other cards on turn 7, right? Like you're also going to get ticks up in power on Misty in Sunspot. Nebula will be sitting there being strong. Cosmo protects your stuff, and Cyclops ticks powers off opponent stuff. You've got ways to protect your giant stuff in both Cosmo and Armor, so that if they do top deck that Shang-Chi, well, your Armor was sitting there, your Cosmo was sitting there. None of your big stuff needs that to be protected. It's protected anyway. Armor, Nebula, and Sunspot will very often in this deck just win one lane, especially if it's like Armor, Nebula, Cyclops will win a lane, and then you've got like in the last turn you're dropping like a She-Hulk and a Hulk, and unless they can beat you in both of those lanes, enjoy. And beating you in both those lanes seems possible, right? There's a lot of really strong stuff. There's hella decks that put like 1,000,000 power rolls. There's negative decks that are going crazy, playing things on Wong. Well, you've got Cosmo for that. But like, there's all these decks that are putting crazy powerful power on the board all over the place, right? Leech stops that. That's exactly what Leech is for. I'm going to give some credit. I don't know where this deck came from. Genuinely no idea where this came from. Screwing around looking for decks, and I found this. So if this is your deck or you know where this deck came from, please let me know in the comments. But I knew I needed a Leech deck because I watched W play a Leech deck, the former Wobolos, guest on last week's Marvel Snap Judgments podcast with myself and Roy as hosts. And I was hanging on his stream, just chatting, and he ran a Leech Zoo deck. It was like Leech and a bunch of Kazoo cards, and just saying, I'm going to be able to go super wide and reasonably tall and win games. And Leech was insane. Like, I don't think the deck was good, even though it kept winning, but Leech was insane. I recognized how powerful Leech was. I went and I found you guys the best Leech deck. So please check this deck out. I think you're going to find a lot of success. Hopefully you enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, sub. Appreciate the support. Peace. See you tomorrow for another snap.